Now the point is this. There's something which was transmitted from patriarch to patriarch and so on that we just don't know what it is. And there are like a 1700 Zen public document called Kong'an in Chinese Kung'an, and the Japanese called the Koan. And all those public documents are paradoxes, and that it was the way they transmitted, the content of their enlightenment. Well, what about the world outside of the Zen traditions? If we can learn something from Buddhism, and especially Zen Buddhism, and if the enlightenment is so important, enlightenment, without enlightenment to your original nature, you are just ordinary human beings, subject to all kinds of evils and pains and so on. So the first important requirement in the Buddhist practice is to be enlightened to whatever that was transmitted. And in WonBuddhism, we have used circle Ironsang as the sign of that ineffable state of enlightened mind. So if you want to be enlightened, you have to be enlightened to the truth of this Irwan or Ironsang, which is spelled out in the scriptures of WonBuddhism. So don't try to be enlightened like in Zen tradition, outside of this truth of Ironsang. So you have to understand what is the truth of Ironsang clearly. And if you really understand the truth of Ironsang, and if you are enlightened to the truth of Ironsang, you have the greatest enlightenment. You may recall in one passage in the Sotasan scripture says, from now on, seeing the nature, or getting enlightened to your nature, will be done at home when you are a youth. But in the traditional Buddhism, even Zen Buddhism, enlightenment, seeing the nature, original nature, was the final goal. And they thought that if you are enlightened, then you become a Buddha. But according to Sotasan, that's not the case. Being enlightened or seeing the nature is at best like mastering the alphabet of a language. It's one thing to master the alphabet of a language, but it's totally another to write like a Shakespeare's Hamlet or something like that, to become a real Buddha. And the enlightenment, there's such a distance. Fortunately, Grandmaster Sotasan said that from now on, enlightenment will be done. I mean, seeing the nature will be done at home when you are young, because we are entering a new era, bright new era, getting out of the dark old era. We are getting a new era. So everybody, almost everybody, maybe in 400, 500 years from now on, everybody will be Buddhas at home. So, by the way, seeing the nature, self-nature, and again, like Suzuki said, that Zen practice without enlightenment, or seeing the nature, is like the sun with no light or heat. So if you sit down to meditate without enlightenment, it will be like the sun with no heat and light. This point was made very early. The most important disciple of Huineng, the sixth patriarch, Hualiang, who had Matsu as his disciple, and when the Matsu was young, a novice at the temple there, and he was practicing seated meditation, and one day Master Hualiang, somehow saw him. He is a great vessel. Eventually, he will be a great enlightened figure. However, he was worried about the method of practicing Zen, because he was assiduously practicing seated meditation. So Master Hualiang asked, "What are you doing? "Oh, I am meditating, sir." "What is the purpose of meditating?" "To become a Buddha." So Master Huareng picked up a broken tile and started rubbing it against a huge rock, making an annoying noise beside him. And being annoyed, this Matsu asked Huareng, "What are you doing, sir?" "Oh, rubbing polishing this tile." "For what, sir?" "Oh, to make a mirror out of this." And after a while, Matsu said, "So you can never make a mirror out of the broken tile by rubbing it." So the Master Huareng said, "You can never become a Buddha by sitting in meditation like that. There should be an enlightenment." That was the point. Now about seeing the nature, self-nature. The word self-nature is a Chinese translation of the Sanskrit word svabhava. Svabhava means self-nature, self-essence, or inherent essence, existence of anything. Meaning, so to be enlightened to self-nature means not only your own self-nature, but also the nature, real essence of all things in the world. That's a big question. And then the history of Buddhism shows different schools say different things about what is the ultimate essence of anything. And Nagarjuna, the greatest Buddhist philosopher, said that it's emptiness. Emptiness. Emptiness is the essence of all things in space and time. 2 centuries after Nagarjuna, we have 1 century, Asanga Vasubandhu brothers. They said, no, it's not emptiness, it's a consciousness, vijnana. So they developed a Buddhist school called Vijnanaptimatrata, consciousness only. Ultimate reality of the universe is consciousness. So the whole world we experience is none other than the expression or manifestation of this universal consciousness. You see? So later in Mahayana Buddhism of Huayan, Tiantai, and the Zen Buddhism, these two strands of a rope runs through. If you read Huayan Buddhist scriptures or Tiantai Buddhist scriptures and the Zen Buddhism, always you find the 2 strands of a rope. One is emptiness, the other one is consciousness. Even in Huayan Buddhism you read like the whole world is the creation of your mind. If you want to understand all the Buddhas of the 3 time periods, past, present, and future, then observe the Dharma nature, the nature of all the things, true nature of the things in the world. The question is, what is the true nature of the things? Is it emptiness or is it consciousness? You see? And it says, because the whole world is nothing but creation of your mind. That's what we read in the Huayan Sutra. Even though the 2 different translation of the Avatamsaka Sutra, one is 60 volume, the other one 80 volume, and it is in 1 volume it says the 4 line, the line says the whole world is the creation of the mind. The other one doesn't say that. Rather, all the Buddhas are creation of your mind.